if I speak the name, I'd be a lie. Think of all the ones they say moved on. I'd be a fool to think that they are gone. Should be a rule for us to say that they live on. Think it's rude for us to ignore them when they gone. Thought I saw you in a shadow on the wall. Is that you? I see you standing down the hall. If I could turn back time, I would and make it stop. Help me focus, hold me up, don't let me fall. You are with me. You are with me. Couldn't leave you if I wanted to. Can't you see I wanna stay with you? You are with me. You are with me. Couldn't leave you if I wanted to. Can't you see I wanna stay with you? You are with me. You are with me. Baby, I wanna stay with you. Baby, I wanna stay with you. You are with me. You stay with me. Couldn't leave you if I wanted to. Eternally, I'm gonna stay with you. I'm gonna stay with you. Stay with you. 'Cause you are with me. You are, you stay with me. The angels in the sky. The angel by my side. You are with me.
I am unidentical, unforgivable, unpredictable. Flows are mystical. Hold up, now I begun as mythical. Young original, my tongue was lyrical. My gums spiritual, my thumb's the vehicle. Now the pen set within my index. I'm hardwired, thoughts and ideas become material. The sun is Helios, and when I write I feel I'm among a billion ghosts. The sacrifice at night I hung a billy goat by his back hooves in the black woods. The blood dripped and then he wrote. This was said by the legends of the Indian folks. They said the priest never died, he just ascended smoke. You can hear him in the river, in the sky, in the woods, flowers and wild oak. The chakras light up his liver, his insides, his eyes, then his single eye and his throat. Then he squeezed the pen, he frees demons, arrest evil spirits, take them to God's precinct, give them their orientation, remove their bat wings and their fiery darts, prepare them for their descent. Back to the underworld, charter bus. On the front says in God we trust. Each of their hands have light and rod cuffs, leaving the earthland. Looking through the dirty windows, helical barred up. In the Merkaba vehicle, they go through fog, come out past the prison yard, where I place hate, envy, and lust. I make them work late from the dirt, dust, the sun up. The first snake spake, behold, the man has become us. Let us now go down there, and stretch forth thy hand, lest he take from the tree of life. Before we gave him freedom rights, we came down like a meteorite upon the ground in the king crown of the Edomites. Jesus Christ, denied by Peter thrice. Before the cock crow, according to the gospel, he stood in front of the Caesar twice. David saw Bathsheba at night, Death Reaper. Solomon saw Queen of Sheba, made Makeda his wife. Said the preacher, the Protestant fought the king of demons in flight. They buried the Queen of England in white. Now they lay her down before she sleeps. I play the Lord of the soul to keep. As her body goes down, slow into the hole. As it touches the ground, it disappears like Tetris. The cemetery goes down a notch. Another coffin comes out the sky like an astronaut. Turning till it's vertical, then goes down into the hole. Then another one comes out the top. The floor drops. This coffin is shaped like a box. Reoccurring, it never stops. Tetris, geometric. Get the body, soul, and the spirit reconnected before we let go and go electric. That's not a crystal ball, we inside of a snow globe. Shake it, watch it snow slow. We're just stiff toys in the void, going for the voyage. She sung her frequencies with silences the noise.
Feed 'em and 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 feed 'em. Teach 'em and 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 teach 'em. Bleed 'em and 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 bleed 'em. teach 'em and teach 'em and teach 'em. Bleed 'em and 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 bleed 'em. Bleed the goats. Bleed the goats. Let us celebrate. Feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em. Teach 'em and 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 teach 'em all. Bleed 'em and bleed 'em and bleed 'em and bleed 'em. Bleed 'em and bleed 'em and bleed the goats. And we say, bleed the goats. Let us pray. Let us celebrate. Bleed 'em and bleed 'em and let us celebrate. Hello, priest. Let us celebrate. Hello, priest. Hello, priest. Hello. Celebrate. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Oh, oh. Let us celebrate. Celebrate. Let us celebrate. Bleed 'em and bleed 'em, bleed 'em, bleed 'em, bleed 'em. I love the ghosts. I love the ghosts. Feed 'em, feed 'em and feed 'em, feed 'em. Give up the ghosts. I want the ghosts. Teach 'em and teach 'em and teach 'em, teach 'em, teach 'em, teach 'em all. Let me say, let us pray. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Celebrate. Let us celebrate. Ooh, let us celebrate. Ooh, let us celebrate. What you do? No, let us celebrate. High priest, high priest. Hello, priest, hello, priest. High priest, high priest. Hello, priest, hello, priest. High priest. Hello, priest. Hello. Let us celebrate. High priest.
Entitled master of cytoplasma. They say I'm a mix of the myth and hieroglyphs and Bible chapters. They say my mind drift, my brain explain. It's pain disguised as laughter. I sit as a king with big wings and tribal stature. The Big Bang, I came from a quiet disaster. Lightness of the lightest factor. Teach calm and peace, meek, then there's riots after. Water and water, salutation, then affirmation. I don't just get downloads, I get applications. It's all condensed into a flow, then the sound goes back to amazing. High frequencies, short and fast wavelengths. Activates my page with ink. I daydream, my bars align with the stars. That's how God and y'all stay linked. Camouflage like the tanning of the desert floors up to the beige sphinx. Yesterday at dusk and right before the sun up, the sky went through several shades, but today it stayed pink. Inside with the tribe they describe as a devil cave, but now they stink, but they shrink into a zinc and other minerals. Stop taking it literal. They can live a lifetime between the seconds you blink.
Bleed 'em and bleed 'em, bleed 'em, bleed 'em, bleed 'em, bleed the goats. And we say, let us pray. Let us celebrate.
Hello, mosquito.
Hello, mosquito.
Hello, mosquito.
Hello, mosquito.
Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Hotep. Namaste. Jumbo. Ashe. What else? Shalom. All the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. Yes, I am Napah Shadah, and I'm on my channel. I just want to do a lesson. I know it's late, but it's okay. Because even though it's live and a lot of people may not see it now, people will see it. Those who, you know, frequent my channel. By the way, if you do frequent my channel, please hit the like and please share. And if you do enjoy the content and you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. By the way, that was a track called Arsonist, produced by Year of the Mosquito. He's a very, very amazing producer. So shout out to you, Mosquito. I miss you guys. Really love you all over there on the Podcraft. Aurora Borealis, Coverboy, and everyone else. If I didn't name you, it doesn't mean that I don't love you. It'll take a minute. But yeah, the music that I played is just some music that I did with Killer Priest. Shout out to the Podcraft. And anyway, but that's not why I'm here. I just wanted to play the music while I get some information. This is a stream about the earth. The earth is actually a living organism. Now, this isn't my original concept. Many centuries, many different teachings, ancient teachings, even modern teachings today, speak about the earth being a living organism. There is all the way back to like the teachings of Tiamat. These teachings about her being made from the earth. And then we've got, of course, Kemetic teachings about just all nature is God, everything that is natural in the world is alive and has a personality, so to speak, So the netters, that's where the word nature comes from. The netters are basically essentially earth. What else? Just the Greeks with Gaia. Gaia is another, actually, there's a Gaia theory that we will look at. Gaia is more modern than the other two that I mentioned. But Gaia also says that the earth is actually an organism, and the earth is an organism. That is why when we hear the discussions and the debates about flat earth, that can be easily disputed because a living organism, typically not a wonderful, complete, balanced organism such as earth would be flat. Yes, there are flat organisms, but not the earth. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start with what I talked about with the story of Tiamat. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I didn't have Tiamat up here. Let me just do a quick search. If you're not familiar with the story, I will read the story. It's from Mesopotamia. Yes, Mesopotamian religion. And this is not, some people really don't like Google. They say, oh, I don't like that information. So I'll put Google on the back burner, but Google has some really great information. We'll go to Encyclopedia Britannica online and just get some information on who's Tiamat and how do we relate Tiamat to this conversation about, or not a conversation, this discussion or this presentation
the earth being an organism. So let me share screen. I don't want this to go too long, but I do want to get this information out. Tiamat, Mesopotamian mythology. Tiamat is in ancient Mesopotamian mythology. She is the primordial goddess who was the personification of the salt sea and mother of the gods. Interesting. Hold that thought about salt. Okay. She also was associated with the chaos of creation. You know, the darkness in the beginning, the essence, the unadulterated earth itself, the unadulterated material of this realm. That's the mother. Yes, that is earth. So she's associated with the chaos of creation. Tiamat and Apsu, also spelled Abzu, the personification of the fresh water beneath the earth, are the source of a family of gods with whom she, Tiamat, eventually went to war. So interesting. We're going to keep tying this back to earth anytime I can. And this is a moment. Mother Earth, the earth, is at war with the inhabitants, with her children, because of the destruction that we as earthlings, especially as humans, what we are doing to Mother Earth. So nothing's new under the sun. As you see, Mother Tiamat, she's considered the essence, the unadulterated material, the unadulterated of the earth itself, was at war in the story with her, with the gods, but also with the inhabitants, so to speak, because we are the gods, we're the children, but we are the gods of this realm. Okay. Not to get sidetracked too much, but there also is something called black goo. It is a primordial essence of the earth, but it also is connected to the cosmos. It has come to earth and it's been found in meteorites. It has rained from the sky, and it is a type of black, it's literally black goo. This is similar to what we know as oil in the earth. We're told that that the oil of the earth is fossil, like depleted or broken down fossils, but it's not exactly. It is actually the essence and the blood, so to speak, of the creature earth, the organism. That goo, that blackness, has been researched, and it's said that it can even communicate somehow in a telepathic way with different individuals, and different individuals have said that it has taken on a very stern mother-like characteristic with them when they interact with this actual essence, this black goo. And it's like a stern mother that it's being approached by each person of the earth. Why am I saying that? Because Tiamat is at war in the story with the gods, with the actual creatures, her children, so to speak. Now, it's not in the story, it's not saying it's her children, but in essence, these gods are the inhabitants of the earth. And Mother Earth is turning on her children because her children are destroying her. So I've spoken about Tiamat, black goo, which is that primordial essence from the beginning, and Mother Earth herself. All right, so let's continue here. Freshwater. Now, she was slain by Marduk. So Tiamat, in this myth, in this story, Tiamat was slain by Marduk. This story is thousands of years ago. Okay. But even in this story, the male figure, the male god, destroys the feminine, the female goddess, or the god. I'm going to say female god. I may say goddess, but it's a female god. Now, doesn't that nothing's new under the sun? There's some very deep-seated desire within the male to stifle, overtake, and ultimately destroy the feminine or the female. Now, does that mean I'm not talking about just misogyny? I'm just talking about the nature of the male, the conquering nature of the male, the conquering destructive nature of the male that can be used for good and is used for good. But even in that, in the story, Marduk tricks. He does this thing with Tiamat, and she ultimately is taken and turned into the earth, like into the earth, the actual earth. Okay. The chief god of the city of Babylon, and from her body he created the universe. So, okay, I'm saying earth, but I'm glad that that's there, because it's not just the actual ground and the actual dirt and trees. And when I say earth, I'm talking about the entire universe, so to speak, what we know as outer space, galaxies, and what we know as the actual place where we are now, where we live. Why is that important? Because it's all one. It isn't separated. We're not floating out in space. We are in space, and space is us. So we're not, space isn't separate from us. That's what I'm trying to say. When I say earth, because for lack of better words, names, I'm talking about the entire embodiment of our existence. However, the portion of our existence is that I'm talking about let's rewind. The portion that I'm discussing first and foremost of our existence is that material, primordial part of us. However, the mother, this earth, is all that we understand. Now, stay with me, because all that we understand as the mother, as the earth, as this organism, it has many living other parts to it. Now, yes, earthlings you can call it, but no, you can look at it as like the body. You can look at the microcosm to know the macrocosm, right? So we're talking about the macrocosm, which is the creature, the organism, earth, for lack of better words. That's including the universe, the galaxies and all outer space, okay? However, the microcosm is your body, but inside of your body, you have living cells, right? You have all kinds of different organisms that are viable. Organisms, scratch that, organs that are viable, not organisms, organs that are viable. And you also have organisms living in you, actually. You have bacteria inside of you. So understand, the macrocosm is the earth. Not so you don't even have to I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but when we talk about flat and round, earth isn't, when you look at the picture of earth, it isn't something that you can say is solid. It's not just in that form of being solid. Of course, we've got gas, and we've got liquid, and we've got solid. So we have gaseous, liquid and solid. Okay. Now I'm kind of going back and like jumping in and out because someone say, okay, that's matter. Yes, matter obviously is what we relate to the most, but we're also going to talk about the immaterial, which still is earth, which still is the embodiment of all that we understand, which includes galaxies, everything, the whole universe. So that is earth, which is an organism. If I've lost you, I'm sorry. But imagine, if you have to, because we're so programmed, that round earth, right? Imagine you've got you can see around the earth, you can see the sky, and then from beyond the sky, beyond the stratosphere, you see like the darkness of the space, so to speak. So imagine that, and that is the whole creation, which is the earth. All right. So now that I've said that, let me keep going. In later myths, Tiamat was sometimes portrayed as a serpent or dragon. Okay. And these images have inspired creatures in modern popular culture. I can get into the serpent and dragon as Tiamat some other time, but definitely just to throw, because I have to really touch on serpent. I can't just leave that out. Serpent is not only the actual snake. Serpent is it can be a celestial body, it can be a being that is a being of light. All right, the illuminated ones, the Nahash in the Bible, they're called the Nahash, the Nagas in the eastern, further east, the I think it is Buddhist. No, it's not Buddhist. Scratch that. It is like Indian, and the Nagas are also some type of Asian. I'll get it. There you go. So, but they're considered the God people. The God people, the people who were shining and serpent-like. So Nakash, the Nagas. So serpent is not just a snake. They were the bodies, or the celestial beings in the beginning, almost ethereal, but they could take on material form. Now that's one thing I want to talk about. So when we relate it to Earth, of course, Earth. You look at the macrocosm. You know how Jesus says in the Bible, "If you see me, you see the Father." So these beings are the ones that came and created, or organized, I should say, this particular earth where we are, this body, this organism that we exist in. These beings, these serpent beings, they manifested this existence, this place, so to speak, from themselves. So there was something before there was an earth. Get it? And so when it says portrayed as a serpent, that's how, just partially, I'm not going to get too into it, but that goes back to, if there's an earth, there has to be a creator, right? And even in the spirit of this organism, earth, the spirit of this organism is the spirit of those that created this organism. So in the beginning, there was that primordial darkness, and the spirit, which is the mother, which is the feminine spirit of what we call God, or the feminine side of what we understand as God. I'm doing air quotes. Moved over this primordial goo, basically, these dark waters, And it's not just in the Bible. This is also in other teachings, Sumerian, Mesopotamian, Kemetic. So the spirit in the beginning moved over that, and so the essence, that's why we say Mother Earth. This is where I was discussing with different people the first gods, I'm doing air quotes, the first god of this world, of this earth, is actually feminine. How? Not that it was when we think of female as a gender or a sex. No, the spirit of it, and the spirit of the feminine is creation. Creation. When you say that, you always get someone triggered and say, well, the man creates too. The man in the basic concept is not in the basic concept of the beginning in cosmology. The male side is not creation. It's just not. And we can be okay with that, right? Women have gone centuries, millennia, accepting that God is male with no problem. And there is God is there. There is the male, there is the female, and there's the child. There's the mother, father, and the child. So I'm not saying there is no male God, but we're talking about the original God. And when I say God, I'm talking about the first existence of divinity, the first creator, or the first creation, I should say. The first power. There you go. The first power here is the feminine. And that came from those creators, the Elohim or the Anunnaki, whatever you want to call them. So you're with me so far? I hope so. I know I'm but so I'm not looking at the chat. I just want to get through this article, and then I'll keep on expounding on other things. And these images have inspired cultures in modern popular culture, notably in role-playing of the game Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. Mythology, creation. Tiamat's name stems from the Akkadian word for the sea, water, right? She is known primarily from the Babylonian creation story in Numa Elish. According to this myth, in the beginning there was only Tiamat and Apsu. They're both bodies of water, until the mingling of their two waters produced the first deities. That you can find something similar to this in science. So the salt water and the fresh water mix. Interesting that there's some references to you can't get fresh water from a salt water fountain. It's in the Bible. But these mix. And salt, by the way, I want you to keep salt in mind, because salt is very spiritual, obviously, and there's some other stuff I want to talk to you about according to the earth. Like, ye are the salt of the earth. You are the creation. You are the children of those dark waters. You see, that's in the scripture. You have to look at I'm always talking about the esoteric and studying the esoteric. The salt, ye are the salt of the earth. You are the children of the earth, right? And look at it's. You can find it here in what these ignorant people say. Oh, that's pagan. That's wicked. Well, these so-called pagan stories are linked to the Bible. So I digress. According to this myth, in the beginning, there was only Tiamat and Apsu, until the mingling of their two waters produced the first deities. Okay. The twins, Lamu and Lahamu. More gods followed, and conflict quickly arose. So do you see how even in this story, it articulates a little bit better than what I was trying to say? There's the water, right? And from that water, comes the gods in this story. However, I'm saying, yes, it's like a, how do you say? It's like a pun, or like a never-ending circle, a paradox even too, because the gods in this story come out of the water, but the gods made the water. And that is true. That is very true. I'm not trying to be confusing, but I want you to wrap your mind around this. The gods that made this place, this existence, this earth, this organism, the gods who manifested this organism called earth, this place called earth, and all the universe and galaxies, right? The gods, okay, immediately you think, oh, they're outside of this. No, they are not exactly outside of it. Their consciousness, that is their thought. And that is the consciousness that we have right now. Okay. And we're connected to their thoughts, meaning these gods, I'm doing air quotes, these creator beings. Now, use that word lightly when I say beings. I mean very loosely, not okay. These creator beings manifested the organism earth into existence, right? With their consciousness, which is, we know it as consciousness, but let's say with their thought. And when they manifested this place, this organism called earth, when they created earth, the earth in their spirit, with the connection with their consciousness, the universal mind of God is what I call it. But some people say it's universal consciousness. But when they thought it or manifested it out of themselves for the creation came to existence, and the creation created these gods. Does that sound crazy? Maybe to some. It may be sounding a little confusing. So let me repeat it. The gods that were, you can imagine they're outside, but try not to do that. Try to break that program. But just, okay. These creator gods, Elohim, whatever you want to call them, these creator beings manifested a thought into what we call earth and even the universe, the cosmos, everything. Their thought manifested it, and it became a reality that still is it is still the gods, but it also now is its individual self with a connection to those gods as one. Do you see the paradox? Do you see how it is, you know it's valid and divine, because there's always a paradox. There's always some type of oxymoron, or like, or there's always some pun or play on words. This is how it is. You could be pretty sure that you're on the right track as far as divinity. You understand? So these creator beings manifested thought, which is now, as we call it, consciousness, to create this earth. And the earth brought forth these gods. Okay. And if you can't wrap your mind around it very, very much right now, just say the gods manifested as something else, but they are still those gods. For instance, using the person Jesus, right? Jesus is a material flesh man, right? But he says, but I am God. God made me. Okay. So imagine that concept. These creator beings that are not flesh and blood, they manifest the earth in thought. Now, because it came from them, their actual consciousness and their, what they are, it is them. And how do we know it is them? Because then this earth, these primordial waters, bring forth these gods. And once the earth, this organism brings these, which is the waters are part of this organism, right? Well, before it was a full-formed organism, let's just say this is the basis of it, the water. These waters brought these gods forth in like a form where they can actually exist in our atmosphere. Just saying it like that. I mean, not don't hold me to the atmosphere, but I just want you to wrap your mind around it. Then these beings that were, so I'm just going to give you like examples to try to make it clear, because people say, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. I really don't like to do this too much lately. I used to really like to get in here and do this, but I'm back doing it. Okay. I'm just going to try to share more of my mind with what I know and what I have studied and learned, and what I've received from consciousness, from the universal mind of God. So imagine these Elohim, or these creator beings, whatever they are. Imagine that they are like these ethereal space, wispy type of misty things, right? They're not actually here, right? Because we're so programmed. So there's no earth or anything, and they're just thoughts. They're basically just thoughts, right? They're just thoughts outside of wherever. Okay. These, and by the way, I'm saying these because it's really just one, but I don't want to get even more trying to confuse anybody anymore. And I'm not looking at the chat. So thank you so much for being here. If you are here, if not, you'll get this on the playback. So these things, by the way, these beings came from the unfathomable God, which we can't really wrap our minds around that particular existence. The unfathomable God. So these are, you could say, thoughts from that God. See, again, we know we're onto the divine. We know we're onto something valid. How? Because now we have this unfathomable God, the big God, having a thought or having thoughts. Okay. And manifesting these beings, these creators that are not material. And then the creators they have a thought which manifests these primordial waters, and the waters and everything else. The waters bring forth these creators, and now they're no longer just like immaterial thought floating around out in space. Now what they've created will bring them actually forth and let them be able to become material or go back to what they were before, so they can change form, like Mystique, kind of, you understand, of X-Men. So they can change form because they are actually just the thought and the consciousness of what they've created. I don't want to go off too much for you guys. So this primordial water brings forth these creator gods, and they continue to create. They move over the darkness, which is that water. They create, and you can see this in science. You can see this in, actually, when we talk about the last universal common ancestor, that is that water that something just started. Something came out of nothing. That is true. Something came out of it's not really nothing, but you get what I'm saying? Something that wasn't material. Now, in this story, the gods come out of the water. Okay. More gods follow, and conflict quickly arose. All right. You see, the creation starts to go against, the creation goes against the creator. It's natural. It's just something that's natural. But I don't want to go off too much. Okay, so more gods followed, and conflict quickly arose. Tiamat and Apsu favored rest and inertia. So they were like, okay, in the Bible how it says, and then God rested. they were just cool with just it being chill, no real conflict, right? Just staying as unadulterated as possible, right? While the younger gods, activity and energy resulted in noise and other disturbances. There's the duality, though. Okay. So, why is it the other god, the younger gods, wanted activity and energy? Activity and energy and noise. We can look at that as entropy. Of course, I talked about entropy before. I have a PowerPoint. I don't want to go too far off and go to the PowerPoint because I'll be all the way off the topic. But entropy is just the amount of chaos in in space, basically the amount of chaos in a space, and it can never decrease. It will always increase. Now we're looking at how do you say it? Time, the construct. And so see how the original the first God said, we just want rest and inertia. But as the activity, when we're looking at entropy, as the activity and the energy increased, the noise increased, that is like entropy. And the more it increased, you can never go back. Well, that's what the theory is. You can't, entropy can never be undone. It always has to go forward and increase. Now, when I say forward, I don't mean in a linear way. I mean forward in circular spiraling way. Keep that in mind. We have to break these programs. When we say forward, we instantly think, oh, it's going to be straight line. No, when we're talking about entropy, when we're talking about creation, when we're talking about time, we're going to look at it in a spiral, like the Fibonacci sequence, which is ultimately it's a circular motion, and that is how that's how we exist. Now, I'm not getting off the topic so much. I know it might seem, but I'm not getting away from the idea that Earth is an organism. This is what this, you can look at this as when an ovum is fertilized in the womb. Okay, it starts to, it's a battle, it's chaos. When it's thriving, it's growing. It goes from from ovum, it's fertilized, zygote, and then it goes into like embryo, and then fetus. It's struggling. It's always it's a really violent process. Life, the creation of life. Even the act of conception is violent if you really look at it. But it's necessary and it's not bad. So, see? So, so you look at this story, we're looking at the creation of Earth. We're talking, that's what I'm saying, Earth is an organism. All of these things going on, they have personalities. This is similar to in Kemet with the netters. You understand? Like, oh, this is a part of nature, but I'm going to anthropomorphize it. I'm going to put a personality on it, right? So in this story, we're looking at the creation of Earth as an organism, but we've got all these different characters, and we've got like the young, so that could be the same idea, like cells, organs developing, so lots of noise going on inside the body, right? That's how it's that it's growing and thriving. There's noise going on. So Tiamat and Apsu favored rest and inertia. You can also say, like, oh, I just want peace, but you can even say life and death, right? Death is not evil. All right. Just putting that out there because I don't want to, again, I'm going back and forth, like I'm jumping in and out because there are always going to be plays on the play on words, double entendres, puns, oxymorons, throughout anything that you're talking about when it has to do with the metaphysical or with the spiritual, you will, when you can see you're going like in circles, almost like in a maze, like, oh, I was here already. It's like, okay, I'm on the right track. It may seem confusing at first, but you have to keep going back and listening to it, and you'll see, oh, that's not confusing. I get it. So Tiamat is a representation of the earth. Let me hurry up and get through this, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to stop here with the creation. Let me finish it off. All right. So the younger gods favored activity and energy, resulting in noise and other disturbances. Notably, the dancing of the gods upset Tiamat by churning her waters. Okay, remember the earth, it's growing, it's coming alive, it's an organism. You got to stir it up. And this is in science too. You have, the waters are, it's a process. I can't remember what it's called, what the name of it is. It's an actual process in the abyssal zones of the ocean, the darkest, deepest part of the ocean, where the sediment, it stirs up, and organisms form from the bacteria and the heat, along with the sediment with the earth. Something actually forms from that. So in thousands of years ago, this concept was spoken of in ancient spiritual mythological stories. The waters churning, creation is taking place. Apsu eventually decided to destroy them, despite strong opposition from Tiamat. So even, see, we're talking about Mother Earth again. Now we're talking about Mother Earth as an organism. Even though Mother Earth is upset, she's churning her waters. She's tearing, she's destroying. You have to destroy to create, right? She's upset, but she doesn't want her children to not exist. So, like in your body, see, I'm giving different examples. Talking about the earth. As an organism, yeah, okay, I have a headache, but I'm not going to chop my head off. Oh, my stomach hurts. I'm not going to eviscerate myself. Get it? So, Apsu's like, let's just, unalive ourselves, in a sense. You get what I'm saying? Because we're looking at, it says two, Tiamat and Apsu, but that's to show us the duality. We're just talking about one organism, which is Mother Earth. And Tiamat is more relatable, and we can see it as Mother Earth, see her as Mother Earth more by the way the story tells. Okay. So Tiamat did not want to destroy the creation, the younger gods. However, before Apsu could attack, the god Ea slayed Apsu and built a temple over him. Now, Ea is actually Enki, right? That's the same god. But Ea is earth. That's why you see earth is spelled E-A, and then the other part, I forgot what it means, but Ea is earth. But that's in this story. I want you to stay with me. Remember, this is a story, okay? And it is written by human beings. Not to be confusing. Yes, Ea is represented as a male in this story. And as the story is passed down, not this original, as it's passed down, it's like, okay, forget about the mother. The mother is not important. We're just going to do male, male, male. So Ea slayed Apsu. Now see, Ea, even if you look at this little clip right here, this little excerpt, or this little explanation and description of Tiamat, why is Tiamat the one that's saying, okay, I don't want them destroyed, but Ea, the god, is seen as the hero and the one who saves mankind? Already it's starting to be skewed toward the imbalance and the miseducation that, okay, there's the male Messiah, the male Savior, the male God. The woman is just there for the creation, like an incubator. Let's just grow out of her. No, 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 no. That is not the truth, because the first creation, the first manifestation from the consciousness of what we know as the creator gods, is the mother, is what even in Tiamat, in the waters, right? Yes, male female come together, but the actual creation where everything comes out of, even in this story, comes out of Tiamat. I hope I'm not confusing you guys or whoever's listening. All right, so Ea slayed Apsu and built a temple over Apsu. This temple was eventually the birthplace of Marduk, the legendary hero and eventual chief of the gods. Anyway, I didn't see the part. I want to get to the part where Tiamat is turned into the earth. She battled Marduk. Here it is. Death. Although Tiamat's army fled, Tiamat stood her ground and battled Marduk. He sent the winds to incapacitate her and then slayed her with an arrow through her heart. After dividing her body in two, he used one half to form the heavens. You hear this, family? Arranging the sun, moon, and constellations. From the other half, he formed the earth, creating the mountains and the continents. Now, that reminds me of Newt. You know, she's the heavens. And then the male Geb is the earth and Kemet. However, from my perspective and what I'm teaching and what I've uncovered, yes, again, yes, there's a male and a female. But before there was male and female, there was the feminine manifested in the creation. Okay, I am proving that. So the mother earth is the organism. Let me check and see what's going on here. Okay, there are comments. Rob, okay, Rob said something. Peace, Rob. Oh, you want the link, movie guy? When did you ask for the link? 14 minutes ago? Okay, but I'm going to finish teaching this up, and then if you're going to have to turn your camera on if you come in, though. So I don't know if you want to do that this late, but I'm just doing this really quickly. But I will drop the link for you if you have something quick to say. If you already left, I wasn't looking in the chat. But okay, let me continue with this. So we talked about Tiamat. We got that out of the way. You see that Tiamat was created from her being was used to create the sky, the heavens, and the earth. Now, let's go fast forward to Gaia. Okay. I think I'm going to do a part 2 to this. I don't want to be up too late. So let me just get the Gaia part out. All right. Or just this examination by James Lovelock is the Earth as a living organism. It's an excerpt from a book, I believe. Yes, the book is Biodiversity. All right, let me read this. I know it will be boring a little bit, but it is some information, okay? So let's read a little bit of this. All right. Yes. National Library of Medicine. Chapter 56 from a book titled Biodiversity by James E. Lovelock. All right. The Earth is a living organism, Chapter 56. The idea that the Earth is alive may be as old as humankind. The ancient Greeks gave her the powerful name Gaia and looked on her as a goddess. Before the 19th century, even scientists were comfortable with the notion of a living Earth. Interesting, right? before the scientific revolution. According to the historian D.B. McIntyre, James Hutton, often known as the father of geology, said in a lecture before the Royal Society of Edinburgh in 1790s that he thought of the earth as a superorganism and that its proper study would be by physiology, period. Hutton went on to make the analogy between the circulation of the blood discovered by Harvey and the circulation of the nutrient elements of the earth, and of the way that sunlight distills water from the oceans so that it may later fall as rain and so refresh the earth. That cycle is the cycle of precipitation. Okay. This wholesome view of our planet did not persist into the next century. Science was developing rapidly and soon fragmented into a collection of nearly independent professions. It became the province of the expert, and there was little good to be said about interdisciplinary thinking. But such introspection was inescapable. There was so much information to be gathered and sorted. To understand the world was a task as difficult as that of assembling a planet sized jigsaw puzzle. It was all too easy to lose sight of the picture in the searching and sorting of the pieces. When we saw a few years ago those first pictures of the Earth from space, we had a glimpse of what it was that we were trying to model. That vision of a stunning beauty, that dappled white and blue sphere, stirred us all, no matter that by now it is just a visual cliche. The sense of reality comes from matching our personal mental image of the world with that we perceive by our senses. That is why the astronaut's view of the Earth was so disturbing. It showed us just how far from reality we had strayed. So basically, from what I get out of that last part, is what I said. Like, even when we see the Earth, it's still not something solid and round. It's really it's like a very, um, how do you say, pliable uh, organism. It's movable. It's not rigid. It's not rigid at all. One second. I gotta look at something. So, oh my goodness, I'm suddenly tired, obviously. So, okay, let me just look. I was trying to find something. Yeah, so it's not changing. No, it is changing. It's not immutable. It can change. It can morph, just like the creators who created the organism Earth. They change, and the Earth also can change. So, hmm, excuse me. Um, hmm. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the videos of the Earth breathing. I'm tempted to show it, but YouTube is so annoying. Let me just take the link and put it in the description. Okay, one second. Okay, super. Right. They have an explanation for it, of course, but they can't explain where wind comes from. Let me stop sharing this. I am tired right now, guys. Earth is a cell. Okay. So Earth is living. You think you believe Earth is living. I'm just getting sleepy suddenly, and so I'm gonna have to do this. I know I always say, "Oh, I'll do a part two," and I don't. But I gotta get some sleep. I'm suddenly. I don't know why I get just hit me like a ton of bricks. However, let me just leave the link for this particular video. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. So there's a link for the earth breathing. They tell you how it's the wind and well, where's the wind coming from? Nobody knows. The earth is a living organism. There was a blog here too I wanted to read. Is the earth an organism? Now, later on, I will be able to prove this information here, where there are different things that must be observed to be able to say that the earth is an organism. You understand, like homeostasis and growth, reproduction. There's a list, and yes, the earth. This checklist. We can go through this checklist with the earth, and confirm that the earth is definitely an organism. All right, so I can't seem. I'm tired right now, so I'm going to stop sharing that. I don't know what happened to the brother. He said he went to hit movie guy. Probably left. I don't blame him. He probably fell asleep. But yeah, that was. Let's see. It's been over a little over an hour. I didn't go over much besides the information on Tiamat, but I was breaking down how like all creation, but especially the earth came forward and manifested from the thought, which is the consciousness of the creator gods. Okay, I got to do a part two next time. I'm so tired. Thank you for coming in, the people who did tune in, but even those who are listening to the playback, I'll do a part two. I'm just tired. It's super late. Yeah, peace to Rob Rack. Peace to Movie Guy. Oh, excuse me. And peace to Wisdom Show. I'm going to leave you with a song. One of my songs. Well, actually, it's a song that I collaborated with another artist. I like playing it. Let me see, where is it at? Oh my God, I'm tired. Lord. I am tired. Where is it? This says rough mix, but I want to see if this is a song I played in the intro, but I think it's different because it says rough mix. I think you can hear me better on it. This is called Cosmos. I was going to play something. Let me play this real quickly. I want to hear it. Give me a moment, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Let me hear this.
I am unidentical, unforgivable, unpredictable. Flows are mystical. Hold up, now I begun as mythical. Young original, my tongue was lyrical. My gums spiritual, my thumb's the vehicle. Now the pin set within my index. I'm hardwired, thoughts and ideas become material. The sun is Helios, and when I write I feel I'm among a billion ghosts. The sacrifice at night I hung a billy goat. By his back hooves in the black woods. The blood dripped and then he wrote. This was said by the legends of the Indian folks. They said the priest never died, he just ascended smoke. You can hear him in the river, in the sky, in the woods, flowers and wild oak. The chakras light up his liver, his insides, his eyes, then his single eye, and his throat. Then he squeezed the pen, he frees demons, arrest evil spirits, take them to God's precinct, give them their orientation, remove their bat wings and their fiery darts, prepare them for their descent. Back to the underworld, charter bus. On the front says, in God we trust. Each of their hands have light and rod cuffs, leaving the earthland. Looking through the dirty windows, helical barred up. In a Merkaba vehicle, they go through fog. Come out past a prison yard, where I place hate, envy, and lust. I make them work late from the dirt, dust, the sun up. The first snake spake, behold, the man has become us. Let us now go down there, and stretch forth thy hand, lest he take from the tree of life. Before we gave him freedom rights, we came down like a meteorite upon the ground in the king crown of the Edomites. Jesus Christ, denied by Peter thrice. Before the cock crowed, according to the gospel, he stood in front of the Caesar twice. David saw Bathsheba at night, Death Reaper. Solomon saw Queen of Sheba, made Makeda his wife. Said the preacher, the Protestant fought the king of demons in flight. They buried the Queen of England in white. Now they lay her down before she sleeps. I pray the Lord of the soul to keep. As her body goes down, slow into the hole. As it touches the ground, it disappears like Tetris. The cemetery goes down a notch. Another coffin comes out the sky like an astronaut. Turning till it's vertical, then goes down into the hole. Then another one comes out the top. The floor drops. This coffin is shaped like a box. Reoccurring, it never stops. Tetris, geometric. Get the body, soul, and the spirit reconnected before we let go and go electric. That's not a crystal ball, we inside of a snow globe. Shake it, watch it snow slow. We just stiff toys in the void, going for the voyage. She sung her frequencies with silences the noise.
Feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em. Teach 'em and teach 'em and teach 'em and teach 'em and teach 'em. Bleed 'em and bleed 'em and bleed 'em and bleed 'em. Let us pray, let us celebrate. Feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em. Teach 'em and 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 teach 'em. Bleed 'em and 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 bleed 'em. Bleed the goats. Bleed the goats. Let us celebrate. Feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em and feed 'em. Teach 'em and 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 teach 'em all. Bleed 'em and bleed 'em and bleed 'em and bleed 'em. Bleed 'em and bleed 'em and bleed the goat. Then we say, bleed the goat. Let us pray. Let us celebrate. Bleed 'em and bleed 'em and let us celebrate. Hello, priest. Let us celebrate. Hello, priest. Hello, priest. Hello. Celebrate. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Oh, oh. Let us celebrate. Celebrate. Let us celebrate. Bleed 'em and bleed 'em, bleed 'em, bleed 'em, bleed 'em. I love the ghosts. I love the ghosts. Feed 'em, feed 'em and feed 'em, feed 'em. Give up the ghosts. I want the ghosts. Teach 'em and teach 'em and teach 'em, teach 'em, teach 'em. I want teach 'em all. And we say, let us pray. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Celebrate. Let us celebrate. Ooh, let
You know what I just thought when I was listening to that? I should add this. You know how I said the primordial, and I talked about that black goo, that's the blood of the earth. That is very important. Like when I remember this song, when I wrote it, when I was like, bleed the goats, and that's the celebration in the worship. The blood is always required, or the blood is always desired in some type of worship, in some type of celebration, because it's the beginning, it's the essence, it's the unadulterated, it's supposed to be the unadulterated part of the material. When the organisms, when earthlings, so to speak, when creation first took place, there was just the blood. The blood was the first part. That's it. The blood, not talking about in like the forming of the actual, organism. I'm saying in the concept of creation, in the cosmology, right? In this, if you really think about it, if you think about the beginning, there was this always water. Like even in that story, it said salt water and fresh water. There was this water, this liquid. And I talked about black goo being the blood of the earth. Well, the blood is the first part. It's the divine, it's the unadulterated. And then the blood is required in worship. Now, am I saying we should do blood sacrifice? No. But our who we are, we're evolving from that. We don't require blood sacrifice. We're becoming these stay with me, we're becoming these bodiless, meaning not spiritual bodiless, but material bodiless. We're coming closer to what we were in the beginning, which was was a thought from creator gods that were not even flesh and blood, that were not material. So we are doing the circling back. That's why I said when we go forward, it's spiraling back, it's circular. So yes, we're starting to say, yeah, we don't need to kill, we don't need blood, we don't need to do that. However, we cannot deny that blood is the essence of the divinity and what we hold dear. Blood is what is the beginning. And the beginning is pure. The beginning is not, when we say pure, don't go by that program like you see a little baby angel flying with a white, little dress on. No, pure as unadulterated, like firepower. You understand? Like you can have the purity of gunpowder, but it can be very dangerous. And that's the chaos. So when I was listening to that, it takes me back to like the beginning, and then but also that goo, that water, even in that story that we read, the mythological story about Tiamat and Apsu, the water is the beginning. It is the mother. It is the feminine. It really is. And then as the feminine evolves, the feminine becomes dual. The feminine becomes dual. I'm not talking about woman, man. When I say the feminine, I'm talking about creation. At the essence, if you think of the definition of creation, it's feminine. Of course, males create. However, I'm not talking about man. I'm talking about the nature of creation is feminine. You can see it just in the womb. The female organism, the body of the female, creates the being inside. Now, going back to the beginning with this essence, this like earth blood, this pure water, this unadulterated dark water, right? It evolves as it goes. And again, I love jumping back and forth. There's science. Last universal common ancestors said to have come from these waters, from water. Even in the stories of, in the theory of evolution, a creature comes from the water. So we've got these dark waters, which is the feminine, but as we go forward in entropy, remember the entropy? We've got the chaos, the noise that keeps getting, it doesn't ever go back into inertia and rest. It keeps going forward, and it's even more energy increasing. That is the essence of entropy. I got to read it. I got this definition. That's the definition of entropy. I have to read entropy. I have to read you the definition of entropy. In fact, I should just share my PowerPoint. I was going to close out. I don't know. I got a second wind. Ugh. And I'm like, I'm back. I'm okay now. But I'm probably going to get tired again. But let me get this PowerPoint. Yeah, that song just made me think, okay, wait a minute here. Here's the PowerPoint. Excuse me. All right. So I did a show on entropy, a lesson. And it's so awesome. You know why? Because it's also ties into time travel. Let me see, entropy. I know it's here. I'll find it. Is it June 28th? I'm in the shower. I'm afraid to wash my hair. Remember that song? Okay, let me see. More presentations. Okay. Oh, I think this is it. God is light. It might be this one. What is this? Oh, this isn't it. Nope. Hold on. Sorry. I gotta get some sleep. All right. It's not the God is light one. Where is it? I want to show you so much. I just want you to see what I see. It's not the God is light, because the entropy was not the God is light. Please, where is it? Oh my gosh. 1 second. This is not it. Yeah, nope. That's not it. Well, I don't know where it is, guys. Hold on. Where did it go? I could just read the definition, but I wanted to show you. Gee whiz. I don't know where it's missing. Yahweh is the serpent? That's not it. That can't be it. Nope. Nope, this isn't it. Well, all right, I'll just read the definition of entropy. Then I'll find it once I get off of here. I'll be like, oh, here it is. Let me search for it. I don't think I titled it entropy, though. All right. I walk along those city streets. You used to walk along with me. Nope, it's not here. Damn. I don't know where it is. I hope I didn't delete it. Okay, let's read entropy. So, what is entropy? Let me look at one more place. 1 second. How can I forget you, girl? Always something that to remind me. Nope. Wait a minute. Here, I found it, guys. Where's... Hey, guys. I think this is it. I found it. Yes, good. I'm going to quickly go through this. I hope. All right, let me go into this. All right. All right. Let's see here. Present. Share screen. Alrighty. So this is a presentation that I did on entropy. Why am I talking about it? Because it's about giving you an idea of the creation, how everything, became and where it came from. Because I am talking about the earth being the mother, but I'm talking about the creation of the earth. At first, it's just a feminine presence. Then, as it goes forward, okay, the energy increases, and so does the chaos. But it's controlled chaos. We think chaos is as, oh, this is so unorganized. No, and then it splits in two as from one being, it then becomes two beings. When I say two beings, I mean two existences in one. Does that make sense? Because from this particular creation, many creations are in the earth, of course, but there's like this. That's where I was telling that one woman when she thought she was onto something. I was like, at first it was just feminine, then it became hermaphroditic. Okay, but anyway. Okay, am I sharing this? No, I'm not. Am I? I think I'm sharing it. Yes. What is entropy? Okay, in the beginning was entropy. In the beginning was entropy. Peace, Black Lion. He says, the Black Lion says, Apsu also represents water, and without him, there would be no creation of the gods. Male power, laugh my ass off. Yes, I did talk about that. I don't know if you heard the beginning, or you just listened, or maybe you were just in the clouds and you came in. There definitely is a male presence in the story, but in the beginning, I get the story, but before there is male female, there is only one creation. There's only one. There wasn't like, okay, the manifestation of male female, here it is, go for it. No, there was only one creation, which is what you would say the waters, say the salt waters first. Because in that story, it says Tiamat and Apsu. Tiamat is the one that is the salt water, correct? From the salt water comes the fresh water. How does that happen? The fresh water, the salt is in, I'm saying in the water cycle. The fresh water is like distilled from the salt. I'm giving you an idea of why I'm saying it came first. But I'm not saying forget about that story. The concept is one creator being. Even though there are multiple creators, in the beginning, there was only one that everything came from, which is the feminine. How do we know that? We can look at the woman, despite the fact, yes, we say, okay, but we need male seed. Yes, the male seed is the ingredient, but the creator is just the feminine. Now, again, this isn't a battle of the sexes. I'm trying to impart the true essence and concept of God, where, when we talk about God and worship, we start somewhere. And it did not start male. It had to start feminine. It didn't start masculine, because masculine isn't the creator in the beginning. Do males create? Yes, please. I'm not saying this to Black Lion Supreme exactly. I'm saying it to everyone. However, the creator is feminine. From the creator comes many. It becomes dual, right? And then then we have exponential creation. We have the dual, we have the 2, then we have the 4, then we have the 16. You get what I'm saying? So yes, Hotep to you. I know, and I'm fine. I'm glad you threw it in, because you know what? This is just my philosophy. It's not set in stone, and you're wrong, I'm right. However, this is what I'm doing is showing really that the feminine, how it's reduced to, or even I'll say the female now, it's reduced to in a lot of these religions, not just in Christianity, not just Abrahamic faith. There has been this collective uh, uh, effort to minimize the feminine God, and the femininity of God, the female side of God, of what people who are believers in God's or God, okay, there's this effort to say, well, yeah, it's the woman has the baby, but the man is no. Even in that story, it's like Ea came in, and he was the one who saved mankind, but Tiamat is the one who was against destroying the creation. So what I'm doing is trying to bring back the balance of what is true. By the way, as I said before, right? You notice that not just from brainwashing, and I'm not just talking about Abrahamic faith. The younger a religion gets, or is, I should say, I shouldn't say gets, the younger the religion is, the more there is a complete absence almost of, well, no, there's a complete absence of the female aspect of God. There isn't one. There's some women spoken of, oh, she's so great, Khadijah, oh, yes, so wonderful, Aisha, but I'm talking Islam. And then we have, oh, Mary, good job. Thank you for giving your womb. It's not that trivial. Then we have in these religions, if you talk about the Queen of Heaven or the Mother of God, you're a sinner. How dare you? But that's what it is. If Jesus is God, then Mary's the mother of God. I'm just using that story, right? So there's a lot to really unravel, and without the female, there would be no creation. That's a fact, yes. And again, let me say this. This is so far away from what I'm teaching, but I'm going to say this just for an anchor for my male listeners, the brothers out there. I see a hierarchy of father, starting at when people hear this word top, they'll say, oh, what do you mean man is over the woman? Okay, everybody just calm down. There's male at the top, the father, then there comes mother, and then there comes child. And that's the way listen, you don't have to do it like that, but that is the way it works in a system. Now, again, I said I'm going so far away from what I'm talking about right now. But what I'm trying to say is this isn't oh, the woman must be over the man. And no, because also, let me talk to you. This is going to get good. I feel it coming on right now, right? When the mother, I'm just trying to make this as simple as possible. When the mother gives birth to the child, the mother, the God, wants that child to overpower and be better than the mother could ever be. But the mother doesn't want the child to overpower and disrespect the mother. Neither does the father, but I'm talking about the creator of the body that created that actual organism, that child. When you have a child inside of you, your body is literally sacrificing itself to the child, back to the blood, the essence. Remember the beginning. Your body is literally, not the male body, talking about female, right? Literally doing the sacrifice. There's the microcosm. If you look at the macrocosm, doing the sacrifice to these gods by shedding blood, right? So going back to the mother, the physical being, the mother has the child. The mother is the God of the child, controls the child, makes the child, creates the child. When the child comes forth, remember I said that those beings manifested the creation earth, manifest the organism. So when the child comes forth, of course the father is a part of it, but I'm talking about the creation with the creator and the creation. When the child comes forth, the mother doesn't say, I want you to just be beneath me. I don't want you to be greater than me. Ever. No, the mother says, I want you to be greater than me. It would be the greatest satisfaction for me as your creator. I want you to be greater than me. However, okay, I don't want you to ever lose sight of that I'm the womb you came from. Now, you can use that with the father as well. I'm just giving you an idea of where I'm coming from, where I say, I'm not saying just because the feminine is the first God, that all that comes from this organism, earth, male, female, because that is what comes from the beginning, when I said it's feminine and then it became dual. So that doesn't mean the male, oh, the boots on the man's head, he's the footstool. No, the creation, which is even the male aspect in that duality, the male takes on the leadership role in a sense. That doesn't mean that the woman is a doormat and just sitting there like, speak when spoken to. No, because that male that has been given that leadership role is balanced and knows that is the first God, the feminine. Now I'm getting away from this, the material creatures. I'm talking about the concept now. Now you as males, I'm telling you, it works. You understand the first God, the first creation was a feminine creation. When I say creation, I don't mean like, let's get in the workshop, hand me some skin. No, I'm saying the manifestation of the thought, the consciousness, right? It's feminine. Not feminine like as we know women, like nice lipstick girl, but feminine in the idea of creation, supporting life, thriving, reproducing. Now we're getting into homeostasis. You can look at all of that on that checklist and you can say that's in essence, that's feminine. But it's never been, from what I've seen, I'm sure someone in the world has done this. No one's ever compared these things as far as, oh, these things, these characteristics on that checklist as, okay, that's why it's feminine. In fact, something just hit me. We know about the duality, male, but everything. I'm talking about humans. There's a male and a female brain, so to speak, right? We know that. However, and I mean within one person, despite your gender. So, but look at it this way. Everything in creation is feminine at its core. Why? Because it is the mother at its core. Why? Why isn't it the father at its core? Because the father is the mother at its core. Why? Because the father also was created. The sperm, the seed, is still a creation from the mother. I know that's hard. I know it's hard for y'all. You say, wait a minute. So now women create sperm? No, that's not what I'm saying. The male organism makes the sperm, but the male organism comes from the mother. Of course, women, don't ever think I'm saying women can create sperm, like the actual sperm. I'm not saying that. We're talking about concept, but I'm putting it in the terms of like biological organisms. But I'm talking about the concept of I said I'm tired. I said we're talking about the concept. We're talking about the thought, the actual, which is concept, the philosophy of it more than the biological actual organism. Just so you can wrap your mind around it. I'm tired, guys. Can women create life after, let's say, 60 years old? A woman who has passed who is past menopause and no longer reproduces biologically still is a woman and is the creature, the organism of the species that creates. So I'm glad you asked that question, Rob, because we're not saying, literal biological, like we're talking about concept. So in that question, even though your grandma can't have children, I'm not saying yours, Rob, but even though a grandma can't have children, she still is what humans come from. Why is she what humans come from? Because think if you came from another place and you never knew what it was. You just dropped down from the outer space and you're like, what part of your species does the creation? You say, what do you mean? Like what part of the species do makes you guys? Like you humans. Oh, that would be the woman. But she needs a sperm from us to create. So we give her the sperm, we give her the ingredients. You know what's interesting about this? What derives from a spiritual aspect? Wait, let me read what you said. Okay, you say masculine energy controls the universe. I think you might have a debate there with me because controlling the universe, now we're talking about controlling the universe, that is masculine and feminine. If we're talking about, we're going way ahead and now we're going full, so that's male and female for my, but you know what, I want to, you want to say something, you can come in if you want to say a couple things. I was going to close out, but I'll drop the link if you want to just because you're typing a lot. You can come in and share your thought, Rob, which would be interesting. It says, can women create? It says, because men can. Do men? Okay, this isn't just about biology, but do men have menopause? No. Men can create all the way to the end of their lives, even after. I did drop the link. Did you see? Oh, that's not the link. My bad. That's that thing about, sorry. Yeah, that's not the link. Let me get it. Okay. So I know, sorry, that wasn't the link. So yes, and you know what? There is there is definitely male and female energy working. Let me do, I'm gonna wait while I wait for you to come in. I gotta do something. Sperm wasn't always needed to create children. Oh, let me put this on the summer jam, and I'll be right back. I took something out of the refrigerator and I forgot to put it back. So I've got to do that. You guys can still hear me, right? Oh, let me put this back in here. 1 second. Yeah, this is a really. I like this conversation though. Oh, my stomach is hurting. I was going to sleep earlier. I got my second wind. All right, so Rob, I don't know if you came in. I didn't hear you come in, but yeah, it's a good topic, but I waited late to do it. I have a show tomorrow to do. I'm going to be interviewing. Oh, there you are. Hello. Is that you? Is that you, Rob?
Yeah, it's me.
Peace. Okay, so go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was okay. So I came in when you were talking about masculine and feminine,
Mm-hmm.
and you were saying that the God is the Most High, or God. Let's keep it simple. Um, the feminine aspect. Now, I'm not going to discount the the feminine aspect, the spiritual aspect of the feminine side of spirituality or creation. I'm not discounting that.
Okay.
But what I am saying is that we cannot. Okay, I want to go with the last thing that I said. Right, even though it may sound a little vulgar, but I'm not going to make it vulgar.
Yeah, you don't have to.
What?
You don't have to worry about getting all graphic, but you can keep
Yeah.
your. I like what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Okay. So in keeping with creation and the universe and biology, I'm gonna. Can a man at 80 years old
Yeah.
with a 25-year-old woman, can he create life?
He can. He can impregnate the woman.
Okay, so he could be a part of the creation of life.
Yes, he can be a part of the first parts of the process. Yes.
Got it.
Uh-huh.
If we reverse that, what happens?
If a
25-year-old man and an 80-year-old woman. No
no,
matter how spirit, but
they're
I'm just saying because we're talking masculine and feminine, but you were putting out that the feminine part was like you were making it seem like the feminine part is like 51% and the masculine is 49%. I'm saying, yeah, you know what I mean? It's not 50-50. If if,
it's not
if
50.
it's not exactly, men create life. You guys hold the baby. Women think that because they have the baby in their stomach that they create life. No, you don't. Men create life. Because you know why? Because eggs die, which is why women have a cycle every month. Every time you have a cycle, the egg that a woman creates is dead. It dies every 30 days, 29, 28, 27, whatever days.
Mm-hmm.
It dies. It's useless. And then it starts over again. Whereas men are life force of creation never dies until we in the physical realm pass through that gate. So a man like Al Pacino could get with Taylor Swift and have a baby, but Madonna can't get with Tom Brady or whatever and have a child because the spiritual aspect of the masculine energy supersedes that of the feminine aspect, which nullifies the biology or of the point you're trying to make is to me what I'm saying It renders it null and void. I understand that you're trying to make it sound nice, but everything in this world is created through the masculine aspect and not the feminine.
Okay. Okay.
The, that's what I'm saying. Like the sun is basically a nuclear reactor, right?
Hmm.
It's basically a boiling pot. It's just constantly a fight of heat and energy. It's just a constant fight. There's nothing cool and calm about it. There's nothing nice and uh, there's nothing about it. That's why everything grows in the daylight. Nothing, like the moon doesn't make really stuff grow. If people want to say like men are the sun and women are the moon, nothing grows at night.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, I'm gonna get to this comment right here in a minute, but I want to ask you a question. So now, remember, I said it's not only about the biological, but I'm gonna rock with you on the biological. I was talking about the full concept and just trying to explain it. But let's go there. What will happen if this man who's 60, Al
Mhm.
Pacino?
Yeah, whatever. I just threw that name
No,
out
no,
there.
we're gonna keep using that. We're gonna use that. Al Pacino gets Taylor Swift pregnant. Taylor Swift decides, I'm not gonna have this baby. Now, who is considered not just the killer, doing the abortion, is who's really the creator? Who's deciding this child can be formed? Is the man creating the child? Does the man create the child? Or does Taylor Swift create the child?
No, well, they both have a part in it. But in today's society, the woman is the one who could decide to eliminate that life force within her, which can grow up to be a child. Um, I totally understand that. But if that was a illegal process, like, okay, there's women out there who focus on their career, who are like, I'm not going to have a kid or whatever, right? They can't decide on their own. The parthenogenesis is only in reptiles.
Give me 1 second. I want to say something to
Yeah.
I think I forgot Pizzle. It's Pizzle. Is that Pizzle? Yakanan P. Pizzle, please don't on this channel, and I appreciate you being here. Don't insult this brother or this person saying he's full of estrogen because he's saying these things. He's not full of estrogen, and I don't know. I don't have any mods in there right now. Just
Oh yeah, I'm not. I don't look at the chat when I talk.
No, I'm just saying, and you can Pizzle, you can disagree with them. I'm just saying, please don't go there because I don't want anybody being offended. I wouldn't want anybody saying anything to you like that either. So you don't have to apologize or anything, but just don't make those kind of comments, please. You can tell him he's absolutely wrong, even though you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not telling you what to say, but when you start saying you're full of estrogen, men want to fight over that sometimes. You know what I mean? Right, Rob? So
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not worried about that.
no man wants to be
That's
called a
minor.
girl for some reason. I mean, I don't know, but go ahead, finish. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So you're talking about parthenogenesis.
Right. So when women decide to eliminate the life force within them, that is a selfish decision, right? Yes, they do have that. A woman can decide to do that. But since you want to take it there, what if her and the husband, right, the man and the woman, they decide to have that, and then let's just say the woman has a miscarriage. Who who did that abort? Who did that elimination of the life force? So if you want to take it, let's take it a step further, because then we go back to biology. Maybe she wasn't eating right. Maybe the universe, the cards were like, no. Because the man, he did his job. Now that 9 months is up to the woman. But then if the woman does her job, but then you have another aspect, which is what we would call God or the universe or, the spirit or whatever, that can decide to say, no, this one, I don't want it to happen. So when you're using a selfish point of view to say that a woman can say, well, what if she doesn't want to have it? Well, what if she wants it, but the man says, I don't want it, and he decides to say, do something physical, punch her in the stomach or something like that?
He's the
That's no different.
no, so when she takes on the role of when she says, okay, the seed is there. I mean, honestly, okay, to be honest, I like that you're giving the other side. So I don't even want to, I'm not going to debate it, but I do, because it's important that you represent, the other popular thought that a man is in control ultimately, and he's what'd you say, the master of the universe.
No, I didn't say it like that. I was just, well, okay, the masculine the masculine energy is the creative force. That's what I'm saying. Because, like I said, because we can take it to a woman's. Okay, sperm doesn't die every 30 days like a woman's egg. Okay, it doesn't. So if the feminine aspect of the creation of life was based off a woman, she would be able to infinitely, until the day she dies, be able to create life. But there's a time period on it. Whereas a 90-year-old man could get with an 18-year-old woman and create and get those two people can get together. Now, granted, the baby might come out old, you know, but it can still happen. Now, I didn't decide that. I am not the creator of men and women, but I do know on a biological scale, a 90-year-old man could get with an 18-year-old woman and have a child. But in the reverse of that, it will not happen. So for somebody, since you brought it up, I'm gonna say you. So since you say that the feminine aspect is will be closer to God, I would say nay. No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Because
well,
I didn't create the biology.
okay, well, the feminine aspect of God would be, we'll start with creation, and you're saying, I mean, you're saying the male creates. I'm talking about, stirring the batter together and baking it in the oven. That's not the male is the one that says, "Hey, here's the eggs. You won't have a cake if it won't rise if you don't use these eggs. In fact, you'll just have it won't be a cake."
Well, okay. Okay. Well, since you want to take it that far, women don't even do nothing.
Oh my
You
Lord.
wait, women. Look, you do not. In all actuality, but in all actuality, women get pregnant. Okay, you just get pregnant. You wake up one day, start throwing up. You miss a period. Your menstrual cycle's off. You have psychological. You go through the crazy stages. Like what the hell? And I'm now I want pickles and ice cream. You do that. You don't actually do anything. You just go about your regular life. It's
What?
not like you think it and then thus it becomes a baby.
Yes, actually, the female body is creating that child inside of the body.
Okay, so then why would the female body kill off the egg every month?
The egg is not fertilize. However,
Who fertilizes the egg then?
let me get to
Okay.
this for you, because we were touching on parthenogenesis. Yes, mammals do. Mammals,
No, they don't.
actually, that's not true. By the
Only
way,
reptiles.
Supreme, they have an animal, a mouse that was created through parthenogenesis. Now there are, and the mouse has had offspring. So now there are mammals that have been created through parthenogenesis.
Come on, sis,
You're
you
not
go
gonna
through.
let me. I let you speak. It's weird. How do I let you speak? You don't believe me? I'll get it.
No, what mouse? Okay,
No,
is that the norm in mammals? Is that the norm?
no. We're getting, well, because we're talking about creation.
Uh
We're not talking about what oh, I know humans today or mice. We're talking about the beginning, when it was not, and what we know today. So I'm not just talking about humans. I'm talking about the concept of male female. So in the beginning, again, if it was, even if we go to science, talk about the last universal common ancestor, this has been the hypothesis is that it was possibly a what's it called, something file, oh my god, extremophile, and it lived at the bottom of the deepest waters, and there's extreme heat, extreme conditions, and this organism formed, right? So what am I saying right there? When we talk about an organism forming, we don't, if we use a concept of it forming, we're talking female. We're not talking male. Organisms don't form in males. They do form with the woman in the woman. Now, forget about, I'm going to move away from humans again. I'm going to go to this being, this organism. It reproduced. Yes, maybe it reproduced by, the sediment in the water and the heat. Those were elements that made it reproduce, right? So when we go to now, we look at the humans, the male could be like the heat, but we still have the feminine aspect of reproduction. I mean, the aspect of reproduction is feminine at the core. It's female. I'm getting to a point, and then I'll be quiet and let you go. Now, that's a concept. Now we're going way forward, and these creatures that through evolution were more like amphibious, reptilian, even some types of birds in evolution. These, we see that today. I'm talking about as the organism evolves. We see that today in those actual creatures. Now I'm going back to the creation, right? So we've got this type of evolved creature that is amphibious, and it is parthenogenic, but that's not good for us, for the gene pool. There needs to be more variety, like genetics. So just keeping on reproducing self isn't really going to work with the longevity of the species. So as it evolves, no, by the way, I skipped something. It becomes hermaphroditic.
No, but in parthenogenesis, when reptiles, or when you want to say the mouse, in parthenogenesis, it only results in the XX, female. It only
Yes,
reproduces female.
exactly. Okay, stay
Yeah.
right there. Stay right there. You're right. So look at this, and this is in science. We know it as XX, but it wasn't exactly XX, but let's just call it XX. I'm jumping from place to place, so I don't want to go too far to human yet, but yes, it only reproduced there's proof what I'm talking about. It reproduced another female, right? Then in evolution, this female needed more gene selection. Like, again, you're just cloning yourself in a sense, and it's not really, you're not thriving. I mean, I'm saying it's not
Yeah,
thriving.
no, I understand. You don't have
So,
to.
yes. So what happens? The duality begins. It becomes within itself, it's hermaphroditic. Now there's something new there. Oh, there is what we would know as today female reproductive organs, and male reproductive organs. It still isn't how do you say, it still doesn't have that good gene selection, like more variety, because it's not reproducing outside of itself. However, it's on the move to do so, because now there's this male getting ready to, how do you say, come forth. Now stay with me, I'm almost done. So from there, this is really rough, but you get what I'm saying. From there, from the hermaphrodite, it becomes now these creatures can reproduce together. They don't have to do it by themselves. They find, oh, we can do it male female. Well, we didn't know it's male female, but we're making this happen together. So now that as they make it happen together, I'm not saying they consciously see it, but I mean just biologically, they live longer, the ones that do it outside of each other. So, but when they first do it, they still are all just XX. There's no XY. The male is XX and the female is XX. This is in science. This is documented. But interestingly, the other XX, which is that male one, something happens in that particular species where the second X starts to degenerate, and now it's the Y. And it is still degenerating in the evolution of our species. Why did I say all that? Wow, I'm kind of lost myself. But the point is, in the beginning, it's female. So you can go ahead and go. I'm mute out.
No, okay. So, uh, so basically, what you're saying is that when children are born inside the womb, it's pretty much a female, and then depending on the hormones, it can turn to a male.
You tell me, isn't that what happens? Now, of course, people say that's stupid. And Black Jesus tried to get me. He's like, we already know that it has XX, but don't we see it morphine even in the genitals? Don't they become, what is it called? Oh my God, they're called doses something. Even in the parts of DR, there are girls who become boys. Or is it the opposite? Is it boys that become girls?
Yeah. I think it's boys that become.
It's girls who would become boys. Go ahead. I'm
not sure. Okay.
I'm gonna get it.
Okay. So do you feel like, while you're getting the information,
Uh-huh.
do you feel that instead of, I'm going to use this biblical analogy. Instead of Adam and Eve, do you think it was Eve and then Adam?
Do I think it was Eve and then Adam?
You understand what I'm trying to say? Like how I'm trying to put it?
Yes, I do. I know it was Eve first and then Adam. And
now, where you get that from? But go ahead.
Scripture, because in the beginning was the darkness, and the Spirit of the Most High moved over it. The Spirit is feminine, and that's in the Bible. And the darkness is also the feminine, the water. So that was the beginning. So see again.
Okay, wait. So where would the masculine? So where would the masculine come into play? If the void was feminine, wouldn't the spirit be masculine? Wouldn't it be the wouldn't the, let's just say, the Earth was just okay. You remember that movie Prometheus?
Yes.
Okay, you remember that dude, he drank the stuff and then he turned into like the black goo and then he fell into the water.
Yes.
Okay, so say if the Earth was just, let's just say, void. So you have the Earth, it was void. Let's call the Earth like the egg. But then when the spirit came upon the Earth, which would be like the sperm, so to speak, then the life was created. The egg was already there.
Okay, say it again. I'll get it.
Oh,
Black line.
uh,
You're talking about the mice. He's talking about the mice, but go ahead.
okay,
I'm gonna get it.
so yeah,
Say that
so
again, Rob.
okay, okay, so say you have the Earth is void or space or
Yes.
whatever. Um, I would consider that the feminine, and then the spirit moving upon the void or the Earth or whatnot. That would be the masculine aspect, the same way that an egg is void until the sperm, which goes into the egg. The egg is dead, unfertilized. It takes the sperm, which sparks the life. Now, could the sperm do anything, or could the spirit do anything without? It's like they work one in this as a symbiotic relationship, but the egg or the feminine aspect is null and void until like a man isn't a man unless he has a woman. How does a man know how to be a man unless he is with a woman? Otherwise, he's just some savage, just doing what he wants to do. So, you know what I'm saying? And vice versa, say for women. You know, a woman is just some creature or some woman until a man comes around. You know, she's going to still have her, you know, like the earth is still going to, you know, get rained upon. Let's just say the sun is still going to shine, but it takes the masculine aspect of this ecosystem or of life to make it animated. See, the sperm is always animated. The sperm is alive because they move around. They search out and seek. It's animated. The egg is, I'm sorry to say, the egg is, I'm not going to
Don't
say it's
say it.
dead,
Don't say that, crazy
but
Don't jump out the window.
the egg, okay, I'm jumping out the window. The egg is dead, yo. It is.
Oh, no, you done jumped out the window.
The
No.
egg is dead. That's why. That's why. If nothing, if no live, nothing with a spirit speaks upon the water or of the egg, it dies. It's just like a planet that is not Earth. It's just there.
Oh my goodness, sir. The
I'm
earth
just
is alive, by the way, but
okay,
okay,
the
now
Earth is alive because of the spirit of the masculine energy.
oh wow, okay. I think we got a debate here, Rob. I don't want to have to beat you up.
You don't want this smoke. I'm telling you.
I'm letting you live and just go ahead and eat right now because this is gonna be your last meal. We get a debate. Look at this right here, Rob, and every Black Lion. Look at this Smithsonian magazine. Mice birthed from unfertilized eggs for the first time. So these are mammals. So the lab rodent, which only had genes from its mother, grew to adulthood and successfully reproduced which was thought to be impossible in mammals. I'll be bringing my sources, Black Lion. You know I don't play. A team of researchers have successfully raised a mouse into adulthood that was produced from a single unfertilized egg. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Let me just read what's highlighted. This method of asexual reproduction, called parthenogenesis, I like to say parthenogenesis, occurs naturally in several animal species, including some sharks, lizards, and birds. But now we see that it is possible in mammals. Why do we know? Why? Of course it's possible in mammals. That's what happened. That's
In
what
a
happened.
lab.
No,
In a
yeah,
lab.
it was in a lab, but this is the thing. Why was it in a lab?
Because it was
Because
genetically modified.
it had to be, because, see, we can't go backwards. Now, this goes back to what I said about entropy. We can't go backwards. We don't want to, we're not devolving. We just destruct. But if you go into a lab and make it happen, you can say, see, it is possible. Then we say, well,
Oh my
it
goodness.
is possible. It is possible.
Okay, with the help, you know what? Okay, so since you want to use that, right? Since you want to do that, oh my God, this is going to sound so sexist.
Listen, y'all, my point is, it's possible in mammals. Now, remember what I said in the breakdown, Rob and Black Lion Supreme and everyone else? This is what I'm saying. The organism, as far as mammals, we've evolved where we I should use the word require, that's better. We require fertilization for reproduction. But there was a time when mammals did not require fertilization for reproduction. They're just
That's okay. Wait, that is the basis of life. That's why they call it the birds and the bees, right? Just that when we talk to children,
uh-huh.
right? We call it the birds and the bees. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do like 10 minutes, and I gotta go to
Black
sleep.
Lion said, but it wasn't a natural act. I'm not saying it was a natural act, because
Yeah, it was in the lab.
yes, but I'm not disputing that. We've evolved to reproduce dually, right? But there was a time when we did not.
So before the advent of science and science laboratories, would that be possible?
Yes.
What?
Yes, because I'm a brand. You say you. So you jumped out the window with no sources. I'm at least going to jump out the window right now. I'm not. I didn't jump out the window with that source. I'm jumping out the window saying there is some evidence, as small of amount of evidence there is. There is some evidence of a type of parthenogenesis in humans. I'm gonna get it.
Oh,
Now, that doesn't mean that humans are reproducing parthenogenetically, or yes, okay, that's not what I'm saying, but there is. Go ahead. Let me let you go. I'm gonna get this other source.
okay. You know what? If here's the okay. Now I'm gonna go full ratchet mode.
Don't say
If
anything too crazy that I
no,
can't.
no. Just peep this.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go ratchet mode. So say if parthenogenesis was
Uh-huh.
possible in human beings, right? Let's just say it was possible, hypothetically. So I'm 20, let's just say I'm 25 years old. I meet
Uh-huh.
a woman, she's 25 years old, and she has a child. And she says, well, I didn't need a man. I created this child on my own, parthenogenesis style. So I say, well, I'm not going to, say financially be responsible for that child. That's on you. I'm not taking care of that child. Um, right now, when you think about that aspect, of it are the creators of that life, which would be the woman. Would they be willing to accept the responsibility or the consequences of creating a life without the masculine aspect of 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 that process?
Hmm. I would say no. See, that's the thing. The male is a wonderful part of the process, and I'm not just talking about the act of conception. The the genes that are contributed, the genetic material that's contributed to the creation of that being enhances the lifespan of the being, and it ensures that the child that's being produced is healthier. So that's the great part of it. So the answer is, I think you're asking, would that be the thing to opt to just reproduce on her own, a woman?
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
How can I? Okay. So if we got, let's just say, parthenogenesis happens in humans, which would be the woman. You said, well, women create life. Okay, totally understandable. I get it. Now, that baby would be a clone of you, and you say that without genetic diversity, the lifespan, like, how would you feel if you could partake in a parthenogenesis, but that child wouldn't live past, say, 13 years old? Would you
oh,
feel
uh-huh.
how would you feel knowing that you had a wonderful child, then you had a wonderful toddler, you had a wonderful infant, you had a wonderful young adult, and then at 13, 14, maybe 15 at the most, it just died?
Perfect. I'm glad you said that. So see what you just said? This is why the natural evolution takes over. It's not even a choice. This is why that doesn't happen anymore, because the like you said, it's not healthy enough. This baby, this reproductive this organism that was reproduced is just basically like a clone of the mother, and it doesn't thrive, it doesn't live, it doesn't even adapt to its environment, and it even in a sense it gets weaker, it gets sicker as the environment evolves, but the organism does not evolve along because it doesn't have a selection of the other organism, like a selection of a totally different gene pool. That's why also
Well,
it's not just about, how we see like, oh, don't do inbreeding.
yeah,
Say,
of course.
yeah, so no, exactly. The woman would say, no, I wouldn't do that. I'm gonna choose from this man's gene pool. I don't want to just be reproducing and have a sick child and a child that doesn't live long. That's nightmarish. And so yeah, they would choose out, and that's what the body has done. That's what biology has done.
So,
Yeah.
I, according to the scripture, like, I am on the side of masculine and feminine energy, but I rock with Genesis 1, where God made people, made a large gene pool, and people choose from there, and that's where you get natural selection, right? But if what you said earlier was the norm, where would the genetic diversity come from if a woman was the first human and she was, say, allowed to be, uh, the mother of parthenogenesis? So she would have 5, 10 girls, and then let's just say, of 5 girls, 1 boy. Where would the genetic diversity come from if it was just a one, if it would, if women or one woman was like the first human or whatnot. Where would that genetic diversity come from? Because even if she created a male, it would basically be a clone of her. But it would just be a male, but still a clone of her. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Kind of. Yeah. No, I do understand. Not kind of. I do. Yes, it would be a clone of the mother, and that's not good. So.
So, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm under the impression that God made the let's just say the universe, or let's just say the planet, that were always men and women. Now, was there a first man and a first I'm not. I don't subscribe to that because then it just doesn't make sense to me. But for argument's sake, to bring it in, because I'm gonna take my butt to sleep. But to bring it in, the masculine the masculine aspect
Yeah.
is the creative and the life bringer force of the biology on this planet. Not discrediting the female or the feminine aspect, the nurturing aspect. That's what I'm basically trying to say, and that's what I was saying in the chat before I hit the panel. Was that to me it sounded like you were saying that, well, guys, men are just like, say, sperm donors, and that's pretty much all we are. But I'm saying no, we are much more than that. And then to use biology, and that's why I say that the little swimmers are always swimming around. They're alive in there. They're alive. They took samples, and they could see them things swimming around.
Mm-hmm.
And those things know what to do when pointed in the right direction. If you know what I mean, when they're pointed in the right direction, they know right where to go.
Okay. Well, the egg is alive too. It's viable.
How? Okay, if the egg. Okay, so why would the woman discard the egg that is alive every every month? Like, why
Because
would you
it
do that?
doesn't get fertilized, right? It doesn't get fertilized, and it's a cycle. It doesn't get. I know. I never disputed that the male definitely fertilizes the egg.
Yeah,
So,
and the male is the life bringer.
all right, come on now. Let me get this for you. I'm gonna let you live right now because my brother.
All right.
But we're gonna revisit this because it's interesting. I want to share this information so I can. I'm jumping out the window. This will be what I jump out the window with. Thank you for hitting the
Okay.
panel because you
All
did.
right.
You had some brothers out there saying, "Get her, Rob! Get her, Rob!"
I didn't know. I wasn't reading the chat. All right.
They didn't type it because they showing love, but I know they were like, "Yeah, get her,
Oh,
Rob." So here it is. All right,
okay. I'm gonna take myself to sleep. I
okay,
gotta
but
get up.
I want you to be
Oh,
here while I read this a little bit.
okay.
Then
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
okay.
being.
I told you that there is a human with a type of parthenogenesis. New scientists, is this article from that website. I'm gonna read it a little bit. The boy whose blood has no father, in the closest thing to human virgin birth that modern science has ever recorded, British geneticists last week described the remarkable case of a young boy whose body is derived in part from an unfertilized egg. The discovery has provided a rare glimpse into the control of human development and the evolutionary changes that made sex essential for mammalian reproduction. Boom! I just dropped that bomb on you
Okay.
guys.
Wait. Who is that? Is let me zoom in. No, just tell me because I got my eyes closed now.
Okay.
Did a woman
No. The article
create that?
Philip Cohen, and it's from 1995, but they found since then many different cases of this. And it's not exactly parthenogenesis, but it does have some characteristics of it because yes, the woman did have sex with the man, but part of the egg is not part of fertilized, the egg that the boy came from.
Oh, that's what they're saying. Oh,
But
well,
some
that's something all the way different.
he's still formed.
That
Thank you, unbiased truth.
look, I'm not.
We're gonna
I'm not buying it. You
I
know, I don't. You said part of the egg wasn't fertilized, not half the sperm, a half a 30% of a sperm or anything like that. It was
well
part of the egg. It could have been a twin.
no, that the egg wasn't a twin. It was just one a single how do you say um
Embryo or
zygote, but
okay.
it never was a twin. And the the egg wasn't fertilized, and it still produced. It's still this is the thing. Even though it was the the sperm was there, they're not denying that. There is some proof that the mother did have sexual intercourse to produce the boy. However, there's a substantial amount of the egg that was not fertilized, but the boy's still fine. He developed fine. He's living and he's doing well. I think there may be some defects to that. I don't know, but he it doesn't. They're not saying. I got to do more research on it, but it's fascinating. Now I want you to go ahead and close out. We can do this again. I got to bring you probably onto the big stage and then beat you up there. No, just kidding, Rob. I'll bring
Well,
you. Will do. Why didn't you? You know, you were supposed to contact Sonetter so you could do your
I,
interview.
I thought he was gonna hit me, but I ain't tripping on that.
No, he said for you to call him.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know. I thought it was the other way around.
Damn, your story's starting to. You know, you already been out for what 3 weeks, 2 a month, 2 months,
Yeah, month and
month and a half to two.
almost no. Let me see. Almost 2 months actually.
No,
Almost 2 months.
no, don't do a Hebrew fib on me. Did you do Thanksgiving?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Hell yeah, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna be around my family now. Did I eat that? Like my family. Um, the
You
thing
like the
about being,
turkey cooked really, really, really well done.
see, I didn't even eat the turkey. I had chicken. I don't like turkey. Only my mom could cook um turkey, and my sister doesn't. Um, she never. My mom, she never figured it out. She don't know how to make it like my mom. So um, like my mom would have the turkey in the oven like Tuesday night, and slow cook it in the oven until till
Thursday?
like Thanksgiving. Yep. She would have it on in the oven. She'd be it'll be in there for like damn near 2 days. Yeah, she would slow cook it on like 175, 200 degrees. She'd turn it up, sometimes turn it down. It was just a way to make she did it. But I didn't have it like me. The word holy means set apart. So I ate some gumbo, but my family knows that they got to make two gumbos. If when I have greens, I have to have turkey neck. They can't put no pork in it.
Right.
If they have ham, I'm not going to eat it.
You'll eat your
So
own ham though?
you said it again?
The ham that's turkey, the turkey ham?
Turkey ham? Never heard of that, but I wouldn't eat it because it got the word ham in it. But I don't
It's
eat
just
turkey.
turkey with like It's dark meat turkey, and it just has like the honey flavor, and all that. But it's just turkey. Like when you go to the grocery store and you see you at the deli those big loaves of meat, and it'll be turkey.
Okay.
That's what it's just a ham. That's why it's called a ham, because it's just that loaf of meat. But anyway, I'm glad you did eat and spend, well, not just
Yeah.
eating, spend the time with your family. That is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
You gonna
Thank
do
you.
Monica?
I was gonna say, well, next time you do a stream, I'll ask about the turkey. I mean, not. I mean, I ask about. Well, you could tell me. How was your,
Oh,
Thanksgiving?
you know what? I think I told you this story before. When I became a Hebrew Israelite, they ran down all the rules. I was like, I got it. You're right. It's the Satan, Thanksgiving, the devil, the blood of the Native Americans. You got it. So, and I'm not making fun. I was just like, okay, yes, a lot of that is true. However, my father always expected me to cook certain things. In fact, I'm the one who cooks. So if I didn't cook, my mom was the only one cooking, and it would stress her out on Thanksgiving. But on Christmas, my father wanted me to make gumbo and this other thing. It's called mondongo, just like family dishes, right? But I didn't make it for 11, I'm gonna say a long time, for years. My dad would ask me, "You're not making it." I never showed up. And I'm getting a little emotional right now, but when my dad passed away, Rob, I was angry with myself, and I was angry with Hebrews, because I thought all those years my dad asked me to come and just cook, and I never did, and now I can't do anything with my dad. And if they think that I think the Most High is going to kill me if I go and spend time with my family on that day, they're wrong. The Most High isn't going to kill me. So the reason I said that long story is, you got to spend time with your family. That's not a sin. Nobody told you to put on your Christmas hat and dance and sing jingle bells and but spend time with your family. Everybody knows it's just a at the core, it's BS when it comes to like the commercial. For let's not even look at the spiritual side of it. What about the commercialism? Buy, 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 sell, sell, sell. And this is the most depressing time of the year for people. What are you doing over there? Signing the cross to yourself and throwing holy water at the computer. Hello? Are you there? I think Rob fell asleep. All right.
Mm. Oh yeah, I did almost fall asleep.
Well, this
All
is
right, I'm so sorry.
peace to you, and we will talk
Peace.
again. I'm so glad you hit my link. I need to bring you in and talk to you about this nonsense. No, I'm just kidding. About the male spirit ruling. I want to say
Yeah.
thank you. It's all, I love you, Rob. You're my brother for life. Peace to Black Lion Supreme. I love you. I love everybody out there. Unbiased, everybody who joined. And Unbiased Truth. Yeah, yes. Let's see. Who else is in there? I might as well go through the list. Thanks for coming over, Pizzle. Kenny Vaughn, thanks for siding with me. You had my back. And yeah, this was a good, even though it's late, I was falling asleep. Movie guy, thank you. Wisdom show, thank you. So, peace to the darkest minds of the light. I will try to do this show. Oh, and Daryl Yahoo Yahweh, thank you for coming. By the way, I have a show tomorrow. I hope I will be able to do it. It's at 10 a.m. It's going to be Ed Dodge here on this channel for sure. And guess what he talks about, Rob? You sleep?
No.
He talks about the feminine God, the mother God, the feminine aspect of God. So tune in. Maybe you could come in and ask some questions. Don't beat him up, though. All right. Peace and love, family. Rob, sweet
Peace.
dreams. I will talk to you all.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, everybody. Peace.
Thank you for hitting the panel. All right, let me unshare this. All righty. I should close with the song. We love you more. Rest well, Goddess. Oh, thank you so much. I love you. That I don't take that for granted. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Peace.